Okay, let's take a look at sequence number one. This is the second video for this class. If you haven't yet watched it, back up to week one and make sure you've watched the welcome and overview video. This one will discuss where we're starting with our major projects. Okay, so you should have up in front of you the sequence one feasibility memo requirements. And we're just gonna go over this and get you started. First of all, you're going to examine this particular website, which is linked in that memo. You're going to be looking at the University Helmke Library main site, which sends you to the Writing Center. Okay, now the Writing Center, if you haven't found it, you've probably walked through the library before if you're on campus. You've probably walked by it, you may not have walked in. This Writing Center Live has these particular items here. You can see that this is kind of a standard website. There's not a whole lot of pictures, there's some links, there's some PDFs and so on. Your job is to kind of take a look at this website, to click through all these different things here and to find something that you think, you know what, I think that really could be better. I think it would be more useful to me or to students if it had this or if it had that, if it had a map or a picture or a video or a live chat, or whatever it may be that perhaps you've used in the past. So you're going to be first examining that website, taking a look at it, asking yourself, what works, what doesn't work, and then you're choosing one thing that you want to focus on, right? What is one thing that could be improved about this website? What would it be? And then, since you have already read your textbook chapters 5 and 6, which are business messages, you'll be reading 7 soon enough. Take a look at the memo examples there on page 203, 204. You're also going to find some memo examples linked in the website address for week 2, I think it is. But taking a look at that so you know how do I do a memo, right? This is a class that works on business communications. You'll be doing a lot of business communications, professional communications. Memos are key to your success or failure in that regard. Let me turn another light on. There we go. So this is what we're going to kind of focus on is two things, right? Analysis, what's feasible, what's not, and two, how do I purvey that information via a memo? Again, memo should follow these rules. Of course, there should be no spelling, grammar, or punctuation errors. I highly recommend actually utilizing the services of the Tutor Center to fix spelling, grammar, and punctuation rules. There should be a specific and detailed recommendation. What should I improve? What do you want to improve? It should not be an overall website thought process. It should be one specific thing that is related to that website. We want to have some sort of design elements that enhance your text. That could be a screenshot of a problem or a screenshot of a particular solution somewhere else, or both. And there should be a references page in IEEE at the end. Now, normally memos don't have a references page. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't, not always. We're going to be using one in this particular class because we're kind of combining a couple of different things. You're not writing a report, but I do want you to include what are the references that I used and here's where they're from. Now, again, we'll be also learning IEEE format. I will show you where to find that. Let me back out here real quick. Let's not do that yet because we'll get complicated. But I will be talking with you about IEEE format, and there's some other videos for you to look at there. If you're off to the side in our class on the toolbar, you'll see that there's an entire section on IEEE format. Again, for this first memo, we're just kind of delving very lightly into IEEE. You'll have to figure out, how do I list a source in IEEE? Okay, so that's the first thing you'll need to do. This memo should have at least 2 distinct sources. One of those is, of course, going to be given to you because it's the website for IPFW Writing Center. So that's easy. The second one that you're going to find, and a lot of people use more than 2, but at least one other one will be another, probably a school, another writing center of some kind. It also could be a business that has an FAQ, frequently asked questions, or it could be, I've had people use museum sites that offer sort of a, here's a bunch of information, how do we put it together kind of thing. But most of the time students end up looking at other colleges and other writing centers and go, hey, this is something that this writing center over here is doing. We could do it too. This is how I know it's feasible because I've seen it work here, and here's the problem with ours. So here's a screenshot of the problem, here's a screenshot of the solution, so therefore I know it's feasible to do. So that's the other distinct source that you're going to be finding. There is a memo link here if you want to take a look at what a memo should look like. There's again IEEE format rules here that kind of walk you through this, but again, not all business memos will use IEEE format, and you're not going to be doing all of that, just basically using IEEE for the references at the end, and maybe potentially for citing something in the text. You're not going to be following all the rest of those IEEE format rules yet, okay? So there's some questions here that you might use to guide your research, or you can come up with your own. Is this the best testing form? Is this the best way to present the information? Is it organized? Could it be more organized? Are there other student organizations that could provide information or sources that could be linked? What other forums could be used to help get the information to you as a student? And what other universities of, say, similar size, type of student, geographical area do similar or different things that we could incorporate at Purdue-Fort Wayne? Okay, so that's basically the memo format. Again, you're going to, if you're in the class, let's go back over here. If we are in the class, actually, I'm going to make it look like it does a little bit different for you guys, right? So let's go into content. Okay, so if we are in the class itself, notice weekly information and assignment turn-in is here. Okay, if I open it up, I'm going to see all the weekly ones, as I mentioned before. And then if you have it open, you're going to see major project information is either right below it. And that's where you're going to find all this stuff about the feasibility memo I have open at the beginning of this is right there. There's a WikiHow for feasibility studies. There's a memo format and sample. And then there's even a student sample for you to take a look at if you want to see what one looks like. Okay, so lots of stuff there to take a look at, lots of things to remember. We have several weeks here that we're involved in sequence number 1, and it goes all the way through week 4. So you'll be working on this all the way until the end of week 4 when you turn in the final. And here's the final, which will be, which I haven't fixed the date on, but the final will be at the end of week 4. Okay, so take a look at that. You'll also find several other videos that will guide you along the way. So have a great day, guys.